What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism boxing channel where we talk all things box. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it always on all so you can get notified as soon as the new content drops on the channel. Let's get into this one. So this weekend, this Saturday, we're going to have a South London derby, Crystal Palace versus Croydon. Buatsi, Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Spider Richards. Joshua Buatsi from Croydon in South London, Craig Spider Richards from Crystal Palace. So a bit of a South London derby there. This is one of these good domestic clashes. I do look forward to it because you've got a guy in Joshua Buatsi who's not put a foot wrong so far. He's been stopping most of his opponents. He has looked a bit hittable. He has looked a bit vulnerable in certain fights. He's not got everything quite perfect, but he's definitely got the killer instinct. He's got punching power. He's on the cusp of sort of world class. He's considered high up in the governing bodies and everything. So he's a guy that, you know, Olympic pedigree and everything. He got a bronze in the Olympics and stuff. So good amateur background. Craig Spider Richards, he likes to say he's come up from the hard way. You know, not really a standout amateur from what I recall. He's a guy that was in the small hall shows, the smaller venues. Didn't have the big promotion, didn't have the big TV deal or anything like that. But he's a guy that he's done it the hard way. You know, he hasn't really put much of a foot wrong. He's got a couple of losses on his record. But he will take confidence going into this fight because he gave a good account of himself versus Dimitri Bivol. And Dimitri Bivol, his stock's recently gone up a light heavyweight because Canelo Alvarez, who's been on a run of, you know, just non-stop victories up until, well, he drew with Triple G and then beat Triple G after, but he's a guy that hasn't lost since fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. So Bivol goes up and outclasses him, and you know, it suddenly makes not Joshua Buatsi, Craig Spider Richards, it makes his performance against Bivol look pretty good. Bivol was coming off a layoff at the time. It was a fight that happened in lockdown, but at the end of the day, you were to look at both guys. Bivol was a guy that you would expect to sort of, you know, walk through a guy like Craig Spider Richards. You know, you'd expect that, you know, with his class and everything, he's also good amateur. But Spider Richards held his own against Bivol, so he'll be going into this fight with confidence. He'll be going into this fight knowing that of the two of them, he's probably fought the better guys. I think, you know, Bivol, you can't, you know, Bivol beats everybody on Buatsi's resume and probably Buatsi too. So, yeah, definitely Richards will be taking a lot of confidence into this fight. However, that doesn't always mean you're going to win. And for me personally here, I'm thinking, as the saying goes, stars make fights. And for my pick, I'm picking Joshua Buatsi to win this one. I think he'll be able to out grit and out tough Craig Spider Richards, and he'll do it. He might do it inside the distance, but I'm sort of picking him on points. Definitely Buatsi to win for me, and I just think he'll be, you know, he's got that killer instinct. He'll make it into a rough night. He's not afraid to get down and dirty. He's not afraid to grit his teeth and do what he has to do to win. Spider Richards is more the boxer. One thing Buatsi will have to look out for him, you know, that is that punching power of Craig Spider Richards. He does hit very hard, but nonetheless, and unless we see, you know, Richards sort of really grit his teeth and really get quite aggressive and make, I'd say for Richards, he's really got to try and make this a long range boxing match. I think, although I would say Buatsi's a bit taller, I'd say Richards' best chance is, it's a typical thing and a cliche thing to say, but he's got to keep it long and try to keep this thing a long range boxing match. He's got to try and not allow Buatsi to set his feet, not allow Buatsi to sort of walk through his jab and get right in his face and, you know, work it, because Buatsi likes to work at close, you know, sort of mid-range and close range. That's his thing. That's what he likes to do. He's an aggressive fighter. He's a fighter that comes forward, pressurizes you, puts it on you, and breaks you down and beats you up. You know, that's what Buatsi does. He does it in a skilled way, but that's basically how he fights. And with Richards, he's a long, lanky sort of boxer. So, you know, common thinking and, you know, my view on it is he's got to, you know, he's got to do all his work on the outside. You know, he's got a good little uppercut on the inside, so he could try and counter Buatsi, bring him onto these uppercuts that he likes to throw. And that's really what he's got to do. He's got to keep it long because he naturally is the boxer. He's not a come forward. He's not really an aggressive guy. He's a boxer. He's a sort of slick, awkward boxer. So for Richards, that's what he's got to try and do. I just don't think he'll be able to do it. It wouldn't overly surprise me if he was able to cause an upset, but in my view, I just think Buatsi is just gonna get on top of him. He's gonna overwhelm him, and you know he's gonna get his way. Basically, he's gonna make it into a scrappy affair, and I'm not too sure that Richard will be able to sort of either get aggressive with him or turn him back, and you know I just don't see Richards being able to sort of do much with the sort of aggression of Buatsi. I mean, it will be tough though. I don't think Buatsi is going to find it easy. I think it is going to be a difficult fight. I think it's a fight where you might even, you know, Buatsi might even be behind up until maybe the halfway stage of this fight before he sort of takes over and he does what he needs to do to win. Because I think Buatsi, his head can be quite static in fights. So, you know, there's times where he's on the attack or he's just there in the middle and he doesn't sort of bob and weave. He's quite a hittable guy. There's another boxer that he fought, a good amateur, and he gave Buatsi all sorts of problems. I think he even cut him in one of his previous fights, and you know, made it very difficult for Buatsi before Buatsi stopped him. So I think with Buatsi you can catch him. He's not that difficult a target to hit. So if Richards can get his tactics absolutely spot on and really use those long shots, use lots of combinations and long, you know, simple things, simple 1-2s, long left hook, and you know, keep him on the end of a jab and don't let Buatsi work. If he can sort of do that, then he's got a very good chance and he could upset him. But I'm just thinking that probably doesn't happen. I'm thinking Buatsi is just gonna impose his will on Richards and beat him. But anyway, yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. I just edge it towards Buatsi. Wouldn't be totally shocked if with an upset, because you never know. Richards might get the confidence, might get the tactics just right. But I'm saying the most likely scenario, Buatsi probably on points or maybe late stoppage. Anyway, let me know what you think about this fight. What do you think is going to happen? Who are you picking for Saturday night? And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism, over and out.